Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another lecture on W211. Previously, we have discussed some techniques to solve electrical circuits that contains the mesh current analysis method, the node voltage method. We also learned how to simplify a given circuit using the circuit simplification techniques applied on the resistances, voltage sources, current sources, and on the overall electrical network by using the Thevenin equivalent or a Norton equivalent. We have also learned how to use these methods to analyze a given circuit to find out the unknown parameters that are flowing in different elements of or different branches of a given circuit. In today's class, we shall see what are some of the most sophisticated softwares that are used to analyze an electrical circuit. We shall see how computer softwares help us in analyzing linear electrical circuits. So in the today's class, we shall only discuss some computer aided analysis methods, a software which is very much common in electrical engineering. We shall use it to analyze and to solve some of the electrical circuits that we have solved in our earlier classes. So let us start with this particular lecture on computer aided analysis of linear electrical circuits. The first question here is that why we need simulations. What is the advantage of going for the computer aided softwares? The first thing here is that the computer aided software provides us a sort of a flexibility at a very low cost without even implementing a given circuit. It provides us answers and verification to our analysis without having implementation of the original circuits. So you see here that we have these electrical circuits. Engineering designs require accurate method for performance evaluation, because whatever you design for an electrical circuit, it should be able to work under the worst operating conditions. So these requirements are quite stiff and requires precise solutions, and therefore computer software comes in. Then we have engineering designs need in-depth performance evaluation, right? So the first thing is accurate method, and the second one is an in-depth performance evaluation. So we may want to see what happens if a certain parameter in a given circuit varies. What is the behavior of a circuit under those variations? We see how the impact of variation on circuit elements actually work. Then assessing the circuit improvements and degradations, because over a period of time the circuit actually degrades. How can we actually foresee the behavior of a given circuit after having it tested in real environmental conditions? So we model those conditions in a computer software, and thereafter we see what is the implications of that particular degradation on the parameters of a given circuit. And if there is some requirement of any change, then we change the circuit and we alter the circuit based on the results that are provided by the computer softwares. And then we analyze the effect of noise and distortion without expensive measuring equipment. So you may not want to have a spectrum analyzer to see what kind of frequencies are present in a given circuit. And the last thing is that based on all of these things, one can actually optimize his or her design using the computer aided techniques. Moving on forward, we shall be focusing on a software which is known as a SPICE. SPICE is an abbreviation of simulated programming program with integrated circuit emphasis. So as you see, this was originally designed back in 1975 by the scientists in University of California, USA. And since then, it has been so popular that the mainstream software companies have adopted this SPICE to design their own software. SPICE is a software that works on the node voltage method, and it always required the modeling and net listing of a given circuit using the node voltage technique. But one thing we should remember here is that this is not an iterative method. By this I mean that the specified output cannot lead us to a circuit synthesis. So it is not a reverse process. We have the circuit, we model the circuit, and it provides us the values of important points that are known as the nodes across a given circuit. So there are certain variants available. The one which is made by the Microsim, we call it a PSpice. Its current version is 8.0 is available. They have made a student variant as well, which is PSpice Student AD. The PSpice Student version is limited up to a few transistors, but that are quite sufficient to cater for the undergraduate degree program requirement. It is free and it is available on their website. These two softwares, this ngSpice and this LTSpice, they are entirely free, and they can be used without having any limitations on the placement of the circuit and as well on the number of components in it. So we shall be mainly focusing on this LTSpice. We will use the LTSpice, we will design the circuit, but mind that once you actually create a netlist for a given circuit, it can be simulated on any of the available versions of the spice or the variants of the spice, and it should work properly. So how it actually works: there are two basic types of spice models available. The most famous one is the one that has a graphical user interface. So you have a drag and drop options for a given spice or the LTSpice program. There you just drop the components, you just put the values, and thereafter you simulate a given circuit. There is another technique which is a rather classical one, that I call it as a code based method, or where we create a netlist for a given circuit. In this particular method of simulation, we for a given circuit, we prepare that particular circuit for the spice simulation. We add up different dummy voltage sources, and we define the nodes, we define the components, and thereafter we write a simple code that is used to simulate that particular circuit. Now the edge here is that those students that have a problem understanding the concepts of the node, this particular code based method is very good for the node concept. So you will see that those who are still having difficulty in identifying the number of nodes in a given circuit, once they go through this particular method, their concept will become quite straight. So we create a source file, then we describe the circuit elements, then what type of analysis is required. I will show you that this code based method is potent enough to give you the Thevenin equivalent of a given circuit. It is capable of giving you all the voltages at the different nodes of a given circuit, as well as the current flowing in different elements. And then we specify the output, what kind of output is required. Most of the time for the DC analysis that we have done so far, it do not require any graphical post processor. So everything will be printed on a simple file. So but it shall contain, or it will contain all the important parameters in it. There are some circuits, once we will move on to the first order circuits and the second order circuits, we will move on to this particular method, which is known as the GUI method, or a graphical user interface method. And in this GUI method, we shall place the switches and along with the alongside we will place on the inductor and the capacitor, and thereafter we will see the graphical post processing of the results. So let us see how we actually define a given circuit. So for example, we have this particular circuit here, and this circuit is quite familiar. I think we have covered this particular circuit in one of our online lectures that I have recorded earlier. So here the first thing is we need to define what are the nodes in this given circuit. So if you see here, there are 4 nodes in this given circuit, right? So we have node number 1 here, node number 2, 3, and 1 is known as a reference node, or it is a ground node. I call it a node number 0. Then we have to we need to model the elements with different values. So you see we have 5 resistances available here. We have a current source here, right? And that current source need to be modeled alongside these particular resistances. So after that, after we model all these elements, then we write what type of analysis is required. So dot op, or the operating point, is normally required for these type of circuits, so that we will shortly see how to write it. Thereafter we define the format of the output file, right? And then we save all the particular code on a notepad file, and we save it with a .cir extension that I will show you shortly. And thereafter we open the PSpice and the file, and then we run the simulation. So you open the PSpice or the LTSpice, whatever software you are using, and then we run the simulation, and it gives us the result. But the most important point here is that how to model a given circuit. You see, like any software that we use, modeling electrical circuits require a special type of syntax that should always be monitored, and it should always be followed if you want to successfully simulate a given circuit with accuracy and with precision. So let me tell you here, for the resistance, the syntax is the most simplest one. That is, we have 2 nodes across any given resistances. So we designate a resistance with R. So you can have multiple resistances designated as R1, R2 and up to Rn, or whatever you can write, but the first letter should be R. And then you have to write down the nodes, and after this we have the value here. So for example, if we have this node 2 here and we have node 3 here, and this is 1 kilo ohm resistance, then I will write it as R1 connected between node number 2 and node number 3, and its value is 1000. So this is how we actually write down the values of for a particular resistance. Next come is the voltage source. Voltage source is always designated with the voltage letter V, and thereafter you can use any substrate as indicated by this letter X. And then we have N plus and N minus. This means that the terminal of a voltage source with the higher potential is considered first, and thereafter we write down the node of that particular point which is connected with the negative terminal of this voltage source. So for example, if I have this node number 2 here and we have node number 3 available here, and let us say this is V1, then I will say that V1 is connected between node number 3 and 2, and it is because if it is DC you have to write DC, if it is AC you have to write AC. But since we are only dealing the DC circuits in this particular course, so it is DC and then whatever the value is. So you can have this 1 volt or you can have 10 volt, whatever it is. So you need not to write down this V here. So you just need to write down the value here. Similarly, for the current source, we have the syntax start with this letter I, and thereafter you can have any number alongside with this I. So the difference between this voltage source and this current source is that we have to first write down the negative terminal and then the positive terminal. So if we have this connected between node number 2 and 3, let us say we call this I1 connected between node 2 and 3, it is DC and its value is 5 ampere. So it will define the current flow from this node 2 towards node number 3. So this is the difference between the voltage source and a current source. Next there are four type of dependent sources that we have discussed. Each of the dependent source is designated by a letter which is required to model that particular thing. So for example, if we are dealing with a voltage controlled voltage source, then the first letter should be E. Now voltage controlled voltage source means that we have to identify these two terminals, which are the positive terminal and the negative terminal of that dependent source, as well as those two nodes that are controlling this particular parameter. So for example, if we have if for a given circuit we have some controlling node, the syntax remains the same as we have seen for this voltage source. Instead, only difference is that we will write this one E1, then there are some controlling nodes, let us say this is 2, this is 3, and the controlling node are also designated with respect to the plus and the negative sign, and thereafter we will write the value, or the value is actually the gain of a given circuit. Similarly, we have for a current controlled current source, this letter starts with F, and we will shortly see what is this Vx here, because this spice cannot measure the current flowing in a given branch. So to measure that, we actually connect a DC voltage source of 0 volt in that particular branch, which is actually measuring that current. For example, if we have let us say we have this particular current source here, and this current source is controlled by the current flowing in this particular branch, right? Let us say this is alpha times I of x. So this alpha is the gain and Ix is the current which is controlling this particular thing, and this Ix is flowing here. So because it is flowing in this particular branch, so we have to actually add a dummy voltage source in this particular branch. This dummy voltage source should have a voltage Vx equal to 0. Now once we do that, any voltage source having voltage source equal to 0, it is just a short circuit path. But because of the requirement of this spice, it will actually measure what is the current which is flowing here, and thereafter we can actually write these particular things. So this Vx is that particular dummy voltage source which is used to measure the current flowing in that branch which is associated with this current controlled current source. Similarly, we have a voltage controlled current source here. So voltage controlled current source means that we have to first identify the current source which is almost same like that of a normal current source, and thereafter we write down the control voltages nodes, which is the plus node and the minus node, and thereafter we have the gain here. And the last one is a current control voltage source. Again, when we have a current control, anything which is current control, we require to have a dummy voltage source there. That dummy source is designated with this Vx. So you have to actually write down these particular syntaxes if you want to simulate any given circuit. Now we shall elaborate some of the examples that are simulated using the PSpice, and then we will see what are the different parameters that are shown in the output file. So this is an example number 1. let us find out what is the value of this Ix here, right? So for here, this value of this Ix, we have to model this given circuit. So remember that the syntax of the code, the syntax which is shown in this previous slide, which is this one, that is what we have to use in this circuit as well. So we need to first of all model the circuit, and we need to define the nodes here. So after defining the nodes, I say this is node number 1, this is node number 2, and because we want to measure the branch current flowing in this 50 ohm resistance, so we have connected a dummy voltage source here, and this dummy voltage source has this particular polarity with this side positive and this side negative, and thereafter we have 0. So we have connected this Vx, we have also designated them, we have given them different names here. So let us say this is R1, that is equal to 10 ohm, this is R2, which is equal to 50 ohm. Let us say this is I1 and this is V1, and their values are actually not altered. So the first thing here is we shall write down the code for this V1. So V1 is connected between node number 1 and 0. And remember that for a voltage source, we have to write down the positive node first, and thereafter we write down the node which is connected with the negative terminal of this given source. So for here we have V1 connected between node number 1 and 0. It is a DC source and it gives us 120 volts. Thereafter we have this R1. So R1 is connected between node number 1 and 2. There is no such need of writing it in this particular format. You can actually write it with node number 2 and 1 as well. There is no issue with this passive element, and its value is equal to 10. Then we have this R2 available here. It is connected between node number 2 and 3, and its value is equal to 50 ohm. Thereafter we can write this Vx, which is connected between node number 3 and 0, and it is a DC source and it has a value 0 volt. And then we have a current source I1. I1 is connected between 0 and 2 now, right? So we write down the non-arrow end of the source first, and thereafter we write down the node which is connected with the arrow side of that particular current source. So we have I1 connected between 0 and 2. It is actually a DC source and it has a 6 ampere current. And then we write down what is our analysis method. So we are using the operating point, DC operating point, so that dot op represents that thing, and thereafter we call this, we end up with the dot end. Let me now copy this particular thing, and let me open up the PSpice and LTSpice and see how we can actually use that. So let me copy this one. So I will open a new text document. That this is a notepad, and in this notepad I will paste this thing. Notice that this first line is not compiled by this particular software, so it should not contain anything from the circuit code. So this is example number 1, and then we have all the code. To save this, we will save as, and here we will select all files, and this will be, let us say this is example number 1 dot cir with that dot cir extension. This is very much required, and then we save this particular thing. So you see we have a file available here. Next I can next I will actually open this LTSpice. This is a commonly available software, and I will open this particular thing here. So this is example 1.cir. Let me double click here. So this CIR file is now open here. Okay, let me just increase the font size here. So now it's okay. So let us simply run this simulation file by clicking here. Now as I run this particular file, I have got this particular expression here. So V1, which is the voltage across the first node, is 120, V2 is 150, and we have all this thing. This I have actually elaborated here as well. So for this particular circuit, we have this output file that was generated by this LTSpice. So we have this V1 equal to 120 volt. So this is the V1. So the voltage at this particular node is 120 volt. Voltage at this particular node 2 is equal to 150 volt, right? And voltage at number 3 is equal to 0, because you see this is a dummy voltage source. So it is actually a short circuit path. So this point and this point have the same voltage, and that is equal to 0. The next thing here is, what is the current Ix? Ix is attributed by this voltage source Vx. So you see here at this particular point, we have I flowing through Vx is equal to 3 ampere, and therefore the current flowing here is equal to 3 ampere. Next we will see another problem that contains a dependent source here. Now this dependent source, we need to find out what is the voltage across this 5 kilo ohm resistance. So the procedure is same. except that we need to see how we have actually modeled this particular current control voltage source. To model that, because this is dependent on this current Ix, and Ix is the current flowing here, so we have actually added this dummy voltage source here, and it is connected between node number 1 and node number 2. Next, when we define this particular 2000 Ix, then you should notice that we first need to identify this particular node and this particular node. Let us say this is H1, this is H1 connected between node number 3 and 4, and also it is depending on some parameter, this Ix, and this Ix is attributed by this Vx, so we have written this Vx here, and the last one is the gain, which is shown here, and then we have this resistance, and thereafter we have this dot op and dot end, and this actually ends up the code for this particular circuit. So once we have simulated this particular circuit, we have this particular result available. You can also verify this result by copying this code here. I will put these codes in the description link as well, so you can download them and you can simulate it. Here we have all the node has different voltages available, which are shown here. So once you have all the node voltages available, it is quite easy to find out what is the power dissipated in this resistance and what is the power supplied or received by these two sources. So that is now super easy. Regarding the current which is flowing in this particular circuit, Ivx is equal to 0.012. That is that the current flowing here is 0.012 ampere. Moving on to the next problem, how can we find out the Thevenin equivalent of a given circuit? Right. So far we have only studied how to model a simple circuit in PSpice. To go for a Thevenin equivalent, there is a special command, that is the .tf. So we shall see this particular circuit in detail, a little bit of detail here. So you see we have this 5 volt source, this is 2 kilo ohm, this is 3 Vx, 20 Ix, Vx. In the last lecture, or the lecture in which we studied this Thevenin equivalent circuit, we solved this particular circuit, and we come to know that this R Thevenin is equal to 100 ohm, and the V Thevenin was something equal to -5 volt, right? So let us see how we can solve it using this SPICE directives. So first of all, I have actually prepared this circuit for the SPICE analysis. For that, because there is a current control current source, so we need to identify some dummy voltage source here. So I have placed a dummy voltage source here, and rest I have defined. This is node 1, this is node 2, this is node 3, this is node number 0. So this is I have actually designated it with alpha here. Above it is X, it does not matter. Here we have 3 times V alpha, and this V alpha is the voltage across these two particular points, or the voltage across the node number 4 and node number 0, right? So this is a basic instinct of our circuit analysis. So first of all, we model this voltage source, then we model this resistance. Thereafter we model this dummy voltage source, which is actually measuring the branch current of this particular side. Then we model this dependent source. This is a voltage controlled voltage source, so it is designated with this E. It is connected between 3 and 0, and this V alpha is connected between 4 and 0. So I have highlighted all these particular nodes that are controlling this particular voltage V alpha. Thereafter we have this F1 here, which is the current control current source, and it is depending on this voltage dummy voltage source Vx. So we have actually specified this Vx here. The gain is equal to 10, and the last one is this resistance. Thereafter, the most important point is the command. Now we do not want to have a .op command, right? Rather the command shall be the .tf, which is a transfer function of this particular circuit, and a transfer function is required on these two terminals A and B, right? Because these are the 2 points where the Thevenin equivalent is required. These A and B 2 points are actually connected with this node 4 and this node 0. So the syntax is V bracket, we have 4 comma 0 and then bracket close. And then why we need the transfer function? We need a transfer function with respect to some input. So the input here is this V1. So we have written this thing, and then this is dot end. So let us simulate this particular circuit and see what values we get. After we simulate this particular thing, we get this particular result here. So this result shows that the transfer function is -1, which means that the output voltage at node 4 and 0 will be -1 times the V input, right? So that is equal to -5 volts, because this in the previous circuit we have the input voltage equal to this 5 volt. So the transfer function is actually stating that the output is just an inverse with a negative sign. With the -1 transfer function, the output should be equal to -5. So we have got this -5 here. Next thing here is it is telling us the output impedance at V40, which means that if we look into this circuit from this particular side, because this node is 4 and this is 0, then the total impedance of the circuit seen from these two terminals A and B, the total impedance is equal to 100 ohm, and this is what we have calculated so far. But notice here, while we use this LTSpice software to find out this .tf command, it is not giving us any information about the node voltages which are at node 1, 2, 3 and 4. It is not giving us any such information. If you use the PSpice provides us the some of the additional information which are shown here. So for instance, if you see here, the PSpice tells you that the voltage at node A is minus 5 volt, right? So it is evident from that particular circuit that this was the resistance here, because this point was grounded. The above one was node number 4. So this is actually node number A and B, and the VThevenin is this VAB. Since B is ground, so it is the voltage at this node 4. So it is directly telling us what is the voltage at node 4, that is equal to minus 5. Next, what it is telling us, it is telling us that the transfer function is equal to minus 1, and this is the same as that we seen for the LTSpice. And then we have, it gives us the output resistance here, which is again 1 e to the power plus 2, that is equal to 100 ohm. So although that the answers are exactly the same for both the two softwares, LTSpice do not provide you this particular information. LTSpice do not provide you this particular information. You need to actually use the .op command to get these particular results. However, the PSpice provide you all these particular things in this single command with the .op. Just try to simulate these particular circuits and do let me know if you have any queries about these things. We shall be using this particular software in the future as well with the graphical user interface. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.